Reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network.
Okay, so what we wanted to introduce to you today is our latest update, Update 17, Return to Giant Hold is the name of our update. And so what we'll do is we'll run through some of the content that's been updated from the original Giant Hold. So the original Giant Hold was content that we made for the levels about 15 to 16. It's one of our largest, it's one of our largest content packs. It's also one of our most popular. Players really love it. It's great content, terrific for leveling and loot. And so since we've spent the last year over in Forgotten Realms, expanding our area over there, we wanted to pop back into Eberron for a little bit of updating for our fans that are still, big with Eberron, and give them a bit of an epic level update, since most of our epic level content we've been doing over in Forgotten Realms. We wanted to give back a little bit more of a treat for Eberron fans. So what we've done is return to this content that we had designed previously, and we've decided to update the story so that we continue the story from where the players left it off at level 16, and also at the same time upgrade the art a little bit, just do some polish here and there, and then completely upgrade like what monsters players are encountering when they return to this area at level 20 plus. So we'll see some of that today, mainly the adventure area and also the raid, which are most of the new content, although the quests have upgraded as well, especially when it comes to the storyline. And then we'll see, with this update, we're introducing a new loot system called the augment system, which I'll give you a little intro of that. And that should be about it of the stuff that we'll run through today. So we'll go ahead and get started with the adventure area. So if we run down here to these purple teeth over here, we'll be taken out into the Giant Hold adventure zone. So I don't know how familiar you are with the earlier storyline of Giant Hold, but in the level 15 to 16 content, you come out here to this ancient battleground between giants and dragons, and you find out that the Storm Reaver giant feels he's been betrayed by this dragon called the Truthful One, and he wants to create a doomsday device to destroy the Truthful One, but in doing so he puts the world at jeopardy. So through this quest line, you manage to stop the Storm Reaver from destroying the world with his doomsday device, and you put him in prison. Well, when we pick up our content in the level 20 range, you're called back to Giant Hold because it looks like many giants and dragons are flocking to this region all of a sudden. It turns out they're being called here by the Truthful One, and the Storm Reaver comes back out of his prison to investigate what's going on and finally put a stop to his nemesis once and for all. And so you're in here investigating why the Truthful One has brought in all these dragons and giants into this landscape. So once we enter the adventure area, you'll see that a lot of the creatures that you encounter are going to be completely different than what you encountered in levels 15 to 16 when there were gnolls and other creatures like that here. Now it's all giants and dragons and trolls and other things like that. So, okay.
Hello.
Hello. All right, now we're all together. Now you can see giants, and if you look up into the sky, you'll see a dragon strafe by every now and then. And if we're lucky, or not so lucky, he may land and decide to mess with us. So one of the things that we introduced when we did our X-Pack in the summer was the idea of random encounters on the landscape. What this means is that when you're running through these adventure areas, You're not guaranteed to see the same thing every time you come through. That's the random encounter. It is random. So we have a, set group of creatures and situations that might arise in various areas. And every time you run through that area, the generator, rolls the dice and sees who you might encounter that time. So I'm going to try to pop us around to a couple of these interesting locations and see what fun we might run into. While you guys can think of I'm going to pull a couple more of our groups. Sorry, it's taking a little longer without the special powers. So I only get everybody over. Oh, good. Everybody's being pulled. Yay for QA having their own powers. Okay, so if we run down here, you'll see this is interesting. We found a bunch of hill giants dead on the ground with a treasure chest in the middle of them. Lucky us. We don't have to kill any hill giants at all. Yay, we can just have this treasure chest. Oh, it's locked. Why is it locked? Give me the treasure. Oh! Looks like we have a dragon. Just luring us in with the tasty treasure and hill giant. So this is one of our dragon random encounters. Clearly, as you can see, we've done a little polishing on our dragons as well. I don't know when the last time was you were in DDO, but since the last update, we've done a bit more polish on the animations of our dragons, done a little cleanup on their artwork. So we think they're definitely beautiful things to look at in this update. And fun to fight. Oh, this guy's green dragon who's So this is one of the examples of, dragon and giant fights. Sometimes they'll be mixed together, sometimes they'll be individual. Sometimes you'll run into them fighting each other. We have a red dragon that's really interesting. He lands and he won't immediately attack you. So you have to talk to him and see what exactly he's wanting from you. Which is fun. It makes it a little bit more interactable than just kill him because he's there. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So that's an example of our random encounters, and of course we've got a few around this adventure area. The next place I'm going to loop us into is an example of our what we're calling journals. This is another feature that we introduced in the expansion pack that we're now bringing into our giant hole content as well. The idea is they're called Explorer Journals, and they're different locations on the map where you can pick up an item. Sometimes it's a journal. In this case, it's giant swords. And you're picking up... people to me. You're picking up on parts of the storyline.
Okay.
So when you click on these items, whether it be a journal or the giant sword that's sitting in front of you, you'll get a bit of the story that's happening in the world in this area. In this case, these swords have been left here by the Stormreaver, and they tell you a bit about his side of the story, what's going on, why he's here, why he's attacking the truthful one, or his questions about what's going on in the world. So if you click on the sword, you'll get a little dialogue box pop up, and it has a bit of the Stormreaver side of the story. Now, I'm not sure, I don't have my sound on here, so I can't tell. Before we release this build, there will be a sound file hooked up to that journal so that the Storm Reaver will tell you his story in his own words. So you don't have to stay there and read that. You can click on it and continue fighting giants as you run around the landscape and just listen to the Storm Reaver tell you his side of the story as we go. So I'm not sure if that's picked up right now.
That came through when I clicked on it.
Did it come through? Great. So that build was updated. Good. So I will pop you over to another location, which tells you the other side of the story. So we're going to pop over to the truthful one has left his journals on high points in a version of spikes with giant skulls on them. Because he doesn't like giants. And so it's the same sort of thing. If you click on that, it tells you a little bit of his story. And so the idea behind these journals is to encourage players to do more exploration of the landscapes and give them a bit of collection and reward for really spending some time running around and exploring the world.
We dragons call it having a bit of fun.
So that's the main things on this landscape to kind of show off. You know, this is a very large landscape, so of course there's a lot. There's a really interesting building if you look up over here across the way. It's got lava pouring from it. It's fun.
Awesome. That's really cool.
So there's a lot more of this area to explore. But I think we've seen a couple of the highlights here. So what we'll do is we'll head back so we have a little more time to check out the raid. So if you want to just press in the upper right-hand corner the recall button, just press that and it should pop you back into the public area where we were before. Okay. So we're going to run up here the hill. And we're going to go check out the raid. So as players finish their quest line, the Storm Reaver will appear here at the end of the bridge and ask for their help up at the Citadel. So we'll run up to the Storm Reaver's inner sanctum up here at the top of the bridge. And we'll try to enter the raid all together. Hopefully I'll get in there. Just click on the door, and then you'll get
Yep, got it.
this window. Yep, and you're here in the same one with me. Yeah. So we'll run in here. Basically, Storm Reaver's asked you to come help him destroy the Truthful One once and for all. And in here, you'll see Mr. Braun Pitts dancing. He's another character that players will see from some of our older content that they'd be familiar with. And then looks like he's going to ask him to cast a spell for us to seal us in here.
Go, seal the chamber, and warn
And then
the
I'm going to stop
others.
talking for a little bit because there's a lot of voiceover. It probably tells the story a little better than I can. Just
It is good of you to come. All of you. There are battles that even a giant can't face alone. Tonight, we lure, trap, and slay the Truthful One, so he cannot do to the little people what he did to mine. Come. First, we destroy this
Okay,
doomsday
so
machine
if
for
you're looking at the
good.
Storm Reaver, turn around and look up.
Why would you destroy that machine? It did so much for you. We meet again, Draco Lich. Come down here and fight, or forever be known as a coward.
Why do you say forever like it's a bad thing?
Your words.
And a lot of this
are
part of the raid,
poison, dragon.
players coming in who have done this raid before, it will look really familiar.
Again.
But we promise this is not actually
Words
the
are
raid room
true.
they will be playing in.
Cut deep. I cannot die.
All of this raid content is completely new.
You were saying?
My wise men have sealed this chamber. Dead, alive, or whatever you are, your evil stays here forever.
Be careful where you tread, giant, lest you step in the trap you set for another. Disciples, slay this fool!
Here we go. And it begins. So, as you can see here, we are continuing with a number of dragons and giants in this battle that the truthful one has called in to help defeat us. So one of the things that players are going to notice, a reoccurring play style that players will encounter is this idea of dragons and giants being paired together and dependent on one another. And so they're going to find the same situation here. You can see the names over these creatures' heads. You'll see that there's a Disciple of Lies, and there's also a Bjorn the Liar. And you'll see there's Jorm the Confused, and there's the Disciple of Confusion. So they're all paired up into teams based on, silence or confusion. And what that tells the players, is a cue to the players, is that these two, this dragon and giant, are linked to one another. And basically the players have to be able to kill both the dragon and the giant within the pair within 10 seconds of one another, or else they will resurrect each other. So it's a tricky little thing to get done. It's going to take a lot of team cooperation to plan it out right so that you can manage that task. I am going to let's see if I can get this without my crazy powers. So what I'm going to do is call out some pairs for us to attack. I'm going to say we're going to go with the liars first, so I can see them. So if I attack the liars. Alright. So we've taken down the liar pair. As soon as we did that, in comes the truthful one. Another thing that, interesting thing that will happen is that whichever pair you destroy, when the truthful one comes in, he will absorb that power that that pair had. So every time you destroy another pair, you're basically handing that power off to the truthful one to use. You really like me. So as you kill off pairs, the truthful one gets more powerful, and then he starts having to throw new things at you. So let's see if we can run into one more stage of this raid before we pop out and look at the... Yeah, we've got a little time. Okay. So I'm going to go after the truthful one and move out of my way. I'm going to go after the confused pair next.
Okay.
Alright. So, with all those pairs down, the truthful one has to come up with a new tactic. And he decides he's going to bring in the Prism of Ages, which is the Storm Reaver's doomsday device that the players destroyed previously. So if you look up into the sky, you'll see the prism is there and it's shooting its rays down at us, attacking us. So our goal now would be to destroy that thing. So you're really going to have to count on range powers here while you're melee.
Of course.
Work on other parts.
We are bound. Death and life.
And this
Life
puts us
and
into the
death.
final phase of the raid,
You must kill
in
us
which
both.
we will find that the Storm Reaver and the Truthful One are actually linked to one another.
He's gone, Storm Reaver.
So we're not going to completely finish the raid. This would be the final phase of it. And in which case the players now have to battle both of these powerful creatures and defeat them. So let's go ahead and press the recall button while we still can before we're completely attacked.
Yes, master.
Okay, recall. So one of the great things about going through a raid with a powerful Dracolich in it is at the end of the raid, when you defeat everybody, you get 4 giant chests of loot. With lots of shiny treasures in them. And you'll see some examples of those treasures in your inventory. So if you open up your inventory with the I button, you should see a couple of items in there that are examples of our new loot system. One of those items should be a Threllian Warblade, which is a long sword. And you should also see in there somewhere an Elemental Mithril Breastplate. If you open up or just mouse over one of those items, what you'll see is that they have these things that are called slots. So you might see, like, I'm looking at the longsword right now, the Threllian Warblade. There's a red slot and a purple slot in there. And I'm not sure if on yours you have an empty one in there.
No, they're not empty. They've got stuff in them.
They're both slotted. Okay. If they were empty, you would see it would just say empty purple augment slot, for example. And what would that would tell you that you have room to upgrade that item if you have a purple gem on you. And so something else you should see in your inventory is a number of gems. They look a bit like 20-sided dice of various colors. The purple, so if you had a purple slot, you would want to find a purple gem or find a colorless gem, which are diamonds, right? Diamonds can be slotted into any empty slot. Otherwise, the colored ones are specifically for their matching colored slot. So if you double left click on one of the gems of any color, really, what it will do is open up a what we call a barter box UI with the title of the gem along the top, and it tells you what that gem is going to do. For example, I clicked on a yellow gem, and it tells me it's a topaz of striding 15%. And then if you had an item that had an empty slot on it, which even if you have one of the items that doesn't have an empty slot, you can still kind of do this and see what that gem would do for your item. So you could click on your Threllian Warblade and drag and drop it into your ingredients.
Right.
And if that was a purple gem or a red gem, it should give you some descriptions of slots that you could use. And then basically, if you wanted to upgrade your item right then and there, and you had an empty slot and you had the gem, you would just click on one of those recipes and then press the augment button, and your item would be automatically upgraded to get that new bonus on top of it.
Okay.
So we're hoping that this is a new system that players will really appreciate the simplicity of it. that players can basically upgrade their items on the run. They don't have to go to a specific location in the world to do it. They don't have to spend the time deconstructing and reconstructing in specific crafting system. A lot of us like crafting systems. I'm one of those people. But sometimes when you're just out adventuring, you'd like just a little bit more power on your weapon right then and there, and not having to leave the dungeon, go take care of it.
Right. So do you see players having a bunch of gems in their bags, so that in the off chance that if they do pick up an item that has these slots, they can do it right in the middle of the dungeon, right in the middle of the adventure zone?
Exactly, because the gems will be dropping as loot as well.
Yeah.
So players will start seeing both the gems and the items with those slots dropping in their treasure tables everywhere from level 8 all the way through our max level of 25. So, players across the game, not just those playing the Epic Giant Hold content, but players across the game with Update 17 should be seeing these new items drop. And so, exactly, players would be, have some gems in their bag. All of a sudden they see one of these weapons drop and they go, oh yeah, I've got an empty slot here, and I've got a gem that'll give me some extra striding power, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in right now and be better for this dungeon. Right.
Perfect.
So, it's great. It's very, hopefully it's simplistic and players enjoy it. We've been getting some great feedback from players in our beta tests on it. Mm-hmm. So that's the newest on the loot. Other things that players will see in this update, if you click on your ampersand in the left-hand corner, you'll see a little section that says Monster Manual. If you click on that, Monster Manual is something we introduced in this past year. It gives players a way, it's kind of takes after the traditional tabletop Monster Manual idea, where, we have a listing of various monsters you might encounter through the world. Well, as you kill those monsters, you'll acquire various rewards, like, experience points for killing them. So some of them we give away turbine points, if you kill enough. And as you kill them, the information fills out in your volume on those types of creatures. So you'll start learning more and more about those monsters as you're going along killing them. And you'll also start revealing some neat little, what's the word I'm looking for? Concept art. Okay. You'll start seeing concept art arrive in the book on the various creatures as well, much like you would in tabletop, Monster Manual. If you opened it up, you would see these neat pictures. So with this update, we're introducing a new volume, Volume 3. And in that volume, one of the many monsters that's in that volume is the Hill Giant, which players will encounter a lot of in the new Giant Hole content. So it'll help them, get even more bang for their buck as they're running around slaughtering things in our new content. They could be earning experience points and other various rewards through doing that. So the Monster Manual Volume 3 is available to all of our VIPs for free. It's also available in our DDO store for those that are not VIPs. And then I think that's about all we had to show off. Just some more points on the content. So this upgrade to the Giant Hold content is a free update to any players that already have that content pack. So if you already own the Giant Hold content pack for levels 15 to 16, when we release Update 17, you will just find that you now have new stuff to go run around and do out there if you have a 20-plus level character. And then for players that have not purchased that Giant Hold pack, it's just more value now for them to hopefully go out and pick it up if they hadn't already.
Awesome.
Yep.
Looks really, really interesting.
Yep. Great. Glad.
So with just a quick question back about the Monster Manual. So just to make sure I'm understanding it right. So there's And this is new since the long time ago that I played DDO. There's account-based deeds as well, so you'll complete some on specific characters, and then there's some that each of your alts will contribute to?
That's right. So the account-based deeds basically mean, like, across your account, all of your characters can be contributing to your checkoffs on that. That's per server. So So if I have 5 characters on this server, all of those characters could be helping me defeat, the animal category. And I'll see upgrades regardless of who I might be playing that day.
Awesome. This looks like a lot of fun. I need to get back into DDO and get my characters up to level 20.
Oh, good.
I think that's what it comes down to. So can you give a little bit, as we get near the end of the video here, a little bit of a hint as to the next direction that DDO will be taking?
Well, we can tell you that there's Eric's producer letter is coming quite soon.
Oh, okay.
That's probably the best indication of the direction in which DDO will go this year.
Perfect. And the update is launching. Have you released that date yet?
We have not, but it's really soon.
Okay. Wonderful.
There's information all about it up on the website. So you should see all the teaser information and all of that, the details and such on the Update 17 Return to Giant Hold up on the website currently.
Yep.
Perfect.
DDO.com.
It is looking great.
Cool.
Thank you.